the Pennsylvania House of Representatives passed an amendment saying that marriage was between one man and one woman, and anything similar to marriage would not count. So that's the part that gets rid of the domestic partnerships, civil unions, common law marriage, anything like that. It went down to the Pennsylvania Senate, and they passed it, but they took out that second stipulation. So they only said between one man and one woman. Because they didn't pass the same amendment, they can't put this on vote. This can't pass until both groups agree on the wording. So right now it's stuck. While it's stuck, we have an opportunity to discuss it, to research it, find out all the different things it entails, and really get people from the state, from our local universities, talking about it and find out what their opinions are, find out how they feel after they've discussed it, after they've been educated on it, so that by the time we're done with our entire process, this is only the beginning of it. But once we're done with everything, we can actually go up to policymakers and say, look, here's what we've done. We've educated people, we've let them talk about it, and here's what their opinions are. These are the people who voted for you. These are the people you represent. Listen to them.
People get notices about the event. They register for it, and then at the point of registration, they get a background document. It's been very carefully prepared on the issue. They read that, they fill out a short survey, and then on the day of the event, they come here. Here, the first thing they do is they're going to fill out a pre-survey. Just their initial opinions before they've gone through the process. So we have a way of, comparing that to their opinions after the process. They do that, they're going to go into the auditorium for an introductory session where Dr. Robert Cavalier, Jay Devine, and a few other people are going to give brief remarks. And then they're going to split into small groups. Those small groups will have a very focused discussion where people talk about the issue, go through points from the background document, and at the end of that, they'll prepare a couple questions. They then all meet together back in the auditorium where they'll have the opportunity to ask those questions to an expert panel, a resource panel, people that are very well versed in the field from legal, religious, societal point of view. And they'll have the opportunity to ask those questions. After that, they then return to the small groups, process the information, and then finally fill out a final survey saying what they thought about the process, how their opinions have changed, if they have, what understandings have been broadened, et cetera, et cetera.
For me, I think that marriage is a very personal decision, and as long as it does not harm someone, like an individual or the society, I don't think the state has any business to regulate it. As long as it's between two consenting adults, I don't think the state has any say in it. And as far as the religious part of it goes, I come from a religious background where marriage is not exactly a religious thing, it's more of a social thing. So in that sense, I have a little bit of difficulty getting into the whole church versus the law aspect of it. If a law is being made about marriage, then it shouldn't be based on religion, because then you're just thinking about maybe one religion or whatever the majority religion is. Still, a civil marriage is still, I think, above religion, or I don't know if I can say above religion, but separate from religion.
I think I agree with you in that I look at religion as more of a social joining. I think that, well, no, I know from my personal experience, many people who have married for reasons other than romantic attraction or to have children. I have known people who have married to have children. I have known people for social reasons, who have married for social reasons. I've known people who have married for monetary reasons. People who have married to keep one of the partners in the country. So there are any matter of things. I think that there are all sorts of different criteria of why people choose to be together. I would have thought that civil union was a fine thing, and it pointed out to me that it really is creating that separate but equal status. So that was really enlightening to me. I thought, well, yeah, civil union would be fine. Believing as I do that marriage recognized by the state and marriage recognized by a religious organization should be separate. I have European friends, and they get married both ways. They go down to the town hall and they register, and then they walk down the street to the church and then they get married. And so it's two separate entities.
What I have a problem with when I was reading this was just changing the whole definition of marriage between, you know, one man and one woman, and just changing the definition altogether. And I don't know, I don't feel comfortable with, like, you know, okay, what do we do every 50, every 100 years we change the definition of marriage to suit a particular group? I don't know. One of the supplemental readings, the man pointed out that it would be nice that if it wasn't just like a special interest group, but if it would just be like, let's improve economic benefits for everybody, let's improve health benefits for everybody, instead of channeling all the energy into like the homosexual world versus the heterosexual world. Because I'm a single person, and I feel like a lot of times that, okay, because I'm single, well, life isn't fair, you know, tax codes and things don't benefit me in any way, shape, or form, but I'm not asking for people to change the definition or to say, you know, make it, you know, revise the codes or the laws to benefit single people. Like I'm not asking people to do that. You just kind of accept it, and it's just, okay, you know, life isn't fair, get over it.
It has certainly shifted from marriage to hold tribes together, marriage to hold countries together, to marriage to hold two people together. And I think that our government being involved in marriage so deeply and so fundamentally still reflects the idea of marriage as a social thing, as a social contract, rather than marriage as a personal contract. And I think that, honestly, my opinion is that government should get its hands completely out of marriage. That if two people care for each other, they should be able to enter into this personal contract however they would like to. Unfortunately, because of the way that our country is and because of how unlikely that is, I think we have to look at the alternatives. I think it's not possible to say that in my lifetime the government is going to say, oh, okay, you guys can get married. It's no problem. Anyone can go do it if they like each other enough. It's not something that we should be interfering with. I see the government as continuing to be active in it. And because of that, I think it turns into really a civil rights issue. And I would like to see it be a civil rights issue instead of a definitions issue. Because when you get into the definitions, you really poke buttons that people don't need to have poked.
I strongly believe that religion does play a strong part with the government. And I don't believe in same-sex marriages, especially when you're involving children. And we're speaking about the upbringing of children in this certain situation.
My perspective on is that I believe the Bible is the words of God, not the word of God. And I think this idea of government and the Christian or the Judeo-Christian religion being so completely tied together, I think is very wrong, and I think it's very dangerous.
I think a lot of it just boils down to economics. Just give a word that says that everything is all inclusive and that everybody's taxed at the same rate and everybody's viewed the same and everybody would be happy. I know that sounds maybe naive or very elementary, but I think everything boils down to the money and, you know, and like, you know, a perceived benefit.
Okay, you are living as though you are in a marriage. We can't prevent you from the benefits that you would get. We can't keep you from consecrating this thing as you would like to.
Would the representative from Group 9 please stand? When Brad comes to you with the mic, will you please present your question?
We had a question that was probably directed most towards Maureen Cohen. What are the benefits of marriage, and are all of them available by other legal means? And as sort of a follow-up to that, how often are you creating legal marriage-like contracts or helping people obtain benefits who are not married?
Thank you. If I can answer the second part first, just because I remember it, and then you can re-ask that the first part again. Yes, as a lawyer and as a family lawyer, I do domestic partner agreements or cohabitation agreements. And I do them for same-sex couples because unless same-sex couples do agreements and estate planning and take proactive measure, things will happen at the time of their breakup or at the time of death that they may not want to happen. So we address issues with regards to living together, separate property, what if the partners break up, what belongs to each one. If you're not married, you do not. There are just in Pennsylvania, especially, there are no benefits. So you have to take proactive measures to make sure that a couple who's not able to marry is protected. I hope that answers your question.
Pretty much. Is it possible to cover all the legal benefits that a married couple would if you are a same-sex couple that isn't married?
I think you can, maybe not all of them. I give seminars and it talks about what you can put into a domestic partner agreement, and someone said, well, what if I just put my partner and I want all of the benefits of law under the statute for marriage? Would that be enforced by a court? It's a great idea, but I don't think it would be enforced by a court because of the Defense of Marriage Act. If a man and a woman can only partake of the benefits of marriage, you can't say that you want every benefit and expect a court to give it to you. So I don't know that you can really, that a same-sex couple can be protected as a married couple just because of the laws available or not available to them. Thank you.
Was your question been fully answered?
I think so.
Excellent.
You to have some time, and not too late, to fill out that survey.
Just being in this little environment right now, it's hard not to get kind of charged about it. Democracy and civic engagement these days is so much either partisan shouting matches, or it's, just you're very isolated, in a voting booth, and that's your only engagement with the democratic process. And that's not how this country was founded. And these little pockets of, people getting together and actually doing the grunt work of democracy is kind of an exciting opportunity, an exciting thing to be a part. And I'm kind of getting a little bit charged from it right now.